As we get closer and closer to the end of the season, there are certain managers who are now unsure about their future at their current clubs because of the underperformance of their teams. Some of these managers surely won't be in charge at the start of next season, while some others may not finish the season at their current clubs. Who are some of these guys we are talking about here? You'll find out in this video. These are 6 big coaches whose jobs might be on the line.
Football's more than a game. It's passion, pride, glory. This World Cup season, Goal90 brings you our biggest offer yet. Buy 3 jerseys and get 1 free. That's 4 jerseys for the price of 3. And yes, free worldwide shipping. This is a limited time World Cup special only until April the 30th. So move fast. Pick your jerseys. Wear your passion. Own the moment before they're gone. Visit Goal90 shop, link in the description.
Top of the list has to be Arne Slot. This has been a really disastrous season for Liverpool all round. After losing to PSG home and away in the quarter-finals of the Champions League, it became confirmed that the Reds will be finishing this season trophyless, and that puts a massive dent in Slot's hopes of keeping his job. Obviously, having won the Premier League in just his first season at the club, you could say he has some credit in the bank, but when you apply context, it doesn't look good. Some say that he only won that title using Klopp's team and also because Arsenal and Man City just weren't at their usual level. And when he was given money to spend about €500 million of it last summer, he made the team worse. On top of that, Slot's man management is being brought to question because of how he has treated Mo Salah, forcing the Egyptian to leave before the expiration of his contract. What this means is that after just 2 years with Slot at the helm, Liverpool will have said goodbye to Trent, Salah and Robertson, 3 of the strong pillars of Klopp's successful side. So, as a Liverpool fan, you get the feeling that things could still get worse in the coming years. Finishing the season trophyless is bad enough, but the manner in which it has happened for Liverpool this season makes everything much worse. They started the season so well, but capitulated, soon finding themselves far away from the Premier League title race. They were humiliated by Manchester City 4-0 in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup, humiliated by Crystal Palace 3-0 in the 4th round of the EFL Cup, and humiliated by PSG 4-0 over the 2 legs of the quarter-finals of the Champions League. After all that spending in the summer, this just looks too damning. But the season is not over just yet. Liverpool's aim is now to finish in the top 5 of the Premier League and secure a place in the Champions League next season. If they don't manage that, then Slot will most definitely lose his job. And by the way, this doesn't automatically mean that his job is safe if Liverpool secure Champions League qualification. Anyway, another coach who finds himself in an eerily similar situation right now is Rosenior. He was hired by Chelsea halfway into the season and was given a 6.5-year contract, but there's a possibility that he'll serve for only 6 months. The Englishman's tenure actually started out pretty well, but the story has changed over recent weeks and his team now very underwhelming, with Chelsea dropping points to any team big or small. Just like Slot, Rosenior too has been humiliated by PSG and Man City, and his number 1 aim right now is to secure Champions League qualification. But that task just seems to be getting harder and harder for him by the day. But apart from that, there's also still a trophy to fight for as Chelsea are in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, but the priority surely is still Champions League qualification. It has become obvious that Chelsea's owners aren't too concerned about results on the pitch, provided the value of the players and the franchise continues to rise. But that doesn't happen if Chelsea aren't playing in the biggest competition in the world, so failing to get them there might be a sackable offence for them. Long story short, Rosenior's job is certainly on the line and he might need to qualify for the Champions League in order to save it. Now, there's another coach of a London club whose job is at risk right now. Do you know who we're talking about here? Take a guess in the comments, we'll see if you're right soon. While you're there, if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Now, back to the video. Alvaro Arbeloa's job is definitely on the line right now and, judging from his comments after the Bayern game, he certainly knows it. That man could get the sack from Florentino Perez anytime now. Finishing trophyless is a cardinal sin at Real Madrid and coaches rarely survive that. Last season, Carlo Ancelotti had to walk after missing out on all 3 trophies. This season, Xabi Alonso has already walked after losing the Supercopa final to Barcelona, so we just don't see how Arbeloa survives this. The young coach oversaw Real Madrid's shocking defeat to second division Albacete, which knocked them out of the Copa del Rey in the round of 16. He oversaw a series of terrible results which saw them drop 9 points behind Barcelona in La Liga. And of course, he most recently oversaw a home and away loss to Bayern Munich, which knocked them out of the Champions League. Considering he doesn't even have the reputation of a top coach, his chances of keeping his job beyond the summer are very slim. Reports say that Real Madrid are already in search of a replacement, so right now it seems like the best case scenario for him is that he is allowed to see out the season and is then replaced after the World Cup. But if he's allowed to stay until El Clasico, another loss in that game could get him sacked immediately. Now, remember, we said that there is another coach of a London club in this video. We were talking about Roberto De Zerbi. Spurs have already sacked a couple of coaches this season, but the current one could still go if he doesn't manage to drag them out of the relegation zone. Life as coach of Tottenham didn't start well for De Zerbi as he lost his first game to Sunderland, which just made his job that bit harder. The goal for him is very simple: drag Tottenham to safety. But the problem is that he doesn't have too many games to do that. A couple more dropped points could be very damaging for the North Londoners, and failing to keep them in the Premier League beyond this season would surely result in the coach losing his job at the very least. Another coach whose job is certainly at risk is Eddie Howe. Yes, he has done so well for Newcastle so far. He ended the club's 56-year trophy drought after he beat Liverpool to win the EFL Cup last year. He also led the Magpies to the knockout rounds of the Champions League for the first time in their history this season. But despite all of that, he looks like he might soon get sacked because of Newcastle's league performance. They're currently 14th on the Premier League table with no hope of qualifying for the Champions League or the Europa League next season, and after all the money that has been pumped into the club of late, that is just unacceptable. Reports say that the management has already started to consider Jose Mourinho as a possible replacement, so Eddie Howe will likely not be leading Newcastle into the 2026-27 season. Finally, it might sound a little crazy to even utter this, but Mikel Arteta's job as coach of Arsenal might actually be on the line right now. He is obviously a very good coach, and the job he has done with Arsenal, transforming them from a banter club into contenders once again, is nothing short of incredible. But there's still one thing missing: silverware. You get the feeling that if Arsenal go another season without winning a major trophy, things would start to get really nervy at the Emirates. A good portion of the fan base has already started to turn on him, saying that he doesn't have enough to get the team over the line and continues to stumble when it matters most. Of course, back-to-back Champions League semi-final appearances for the first time in the club's history is a huge achievement, but in a season when they led the Premier League for a very large portion of the campaign, if they fail to finish the job and bring home either the Premier League or the Champions League, huge questions will definitely start to be asked. In fact, there are some fans who have suggested that even if Arsenal do win the Premier League this season, Arteta should still walk and get replaced by a top coach who will usher them into a new era. We realise it still sounds pretty crazy, but hey, let's face it, it is certainly something that could happen. But we now want to hear from you guys. Do you think there is any chance at all that Arteta will get sacked this season? Tell us what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.